Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Prime Ticket.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Florida Marlins. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Saturday to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers and Marlins, Game 2 of the 3-game series. The Marlins, having had a 3-game winning streak snapped last night, they're now 2 games back of Philadelphia. The Dodgers trying to recover from a bad road trip, winning last night. They remain 6 back of the Giants, but the Giants lost this afternoon. Now to the pitching. Hiroki Kuroda will be on the mound for the Dodgers with a record of 5-4, 1-1 against the Marlins. And for the Florida Marlins, making his first start since 2007 at Ottawa in AAA, will be Brian Sanchez. He had made 166 relief appearances, and this will be his first start. So we'll get to the ball game. We'll have a lot coming up for you right after this.
Dodgers baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by San Manuel. Celebrate your birthday this year at San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino and receive a special birthday package. Visit sanmanuel.com for details. You must be 21 to enter the casino. Good matchup tonight. Dodgers Marlins, game 2 of 3 from the Ravine. You know, our Hyundai keys to the game. James Loney has hit safely in 18 of 21. Always plays great defense, but Steve, I want to see more of this from the first baseman.
Yeah, that ball was absolutely hammered. We haven't seen a lot of that, just 2 home runs on the season. We haven't really seen the classic James Loney swing for most of this year, but it has turned around. He's hit about 150 points higher in his last 28 games than his first 24. You see the numbers right there. Also striking out a lot fewer times. He was really striking out a lot early in the year. Now he's not doing that. I really think what he's done, stop tinkering with that swing so much. If the ball's away from him, he hits it away. If the ball's in like it last night, he pulls it. And, you know, he's always had a really classic opposite field swing. I think he's gone back to that.
And maybe get some pitches thrown to Matt Kemp a little bit as well.
You know, that's why getting the lineup back the way Don Mattingly wants it's so important. It's not just one guy back in the lineup.
Right.
That one guy that puts into the lineup, a guy like Casey Blake, can make James Loney a way better player, even if he's hitting 3 spots in the order down.
Exactly. Well, looking forward to a good game tonight with the Marlins, and it would be nice if perhaps tonight's game ended just like it did last night.
Hyundai, introducing the Hyundai Assurance Trade-in Value Guarantee. See your Hyundai dealer for details. By 76 Gasoline, we're on the driver's side. By CarMax, now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. And by AT&T. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Saturday evening to you, wherever you may be. We're happily ensconced at Dodger Stadium waiting for Game 2 of the 3-game series between the Marlins and the Dodgers. It's also their 5th meeting of the year, and they've split the previous 4. So as the Dodgers take their positions, it's the Marlins trying to make a move. Don Mattingly club, unaware perhaps of the fact that Milwaukee beat the Giants 3-2. The Brewers won on a pinch hit, bases loaded suicide squeeze by Jonathan LaCroix with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning to score Ryan Braun, and that was before a sellout crowd in Milwaukee. So for the Dodgers, hoping they will come back and have a chance to cut the Giant lead to 5. Here's the Marlin batting order. They're 2 back of the Phils. Chris Coghlan in center field, Hanley Ramirez at short, and Logan Morrison in left. Gabby Sanchez at first, Greg Dobbs at third, Mike Stanton in right, Omar Infante at second base, Brett Hayes the catcher, Brian Sanchez the pitcher, and on the mound for the Dodgers, Hiroki Kuroda. He is 5-4 with a record of 1-1 against the Florida Marlins. Leading off will be Chris Coghlan, the Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. And if ever anybody had an empathy for a teammate, it is Chris Coghlan for Scott Cousins. If the name Scott Cousins doesn't ring a bell, the story will. Scott Cousins was the one in the collision with Buster Posey that put the Giant catcher out for a year. Coghlan takes a strike in the count 0-1. Well, in Chris Coghlan's rookie year, almost 2 years ago to the day, he slid into second base trying to break up a double play and put Akinori Iwamura out for the year. The pitch to Coghlan misses, 1 ball and 1 strike. And as Chris was saying, he sat alongside of Scott Cousin on the airplane saying it's so strange because it's so similar. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Coghlan hits a drive into right center on his horse as Kemp can't get it. It's going to go off the base of the wall. Coghlan steaming into second base with a double. And just like that, the Marlins have a runner in scoring position. The reason Coghlan and Cousins are close is the fact Cousins went to the University of San Francisco and lives in San Francisco. And Coghlan is a Floridian who lives near Tampa Bay, and he knew a lot of those players. Anyway, with that behind him, Coghlan doubles, and the batter now is Hanley Ramirez. The Marlins had a very bad night last night. They had ample opportunity to pile up a bunch of runs, but they couldn't do it. So we'll see how they do tonight against Hiroki Kuroda. Hanley Ramirez, so far a bitter disappointment for the Marlins, hitting only .210. He shows bunt and takes outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Hanley Ramirez. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2006. He was the batting champion in 2009. And here he is hitting .210. That is really a sour note. 1 ball and no strikes. This is a big pitch for Kuroda. And the 1-0 pitch misses. Now it's 2-0, and throughout Hiroki Kuroda's career, the 2-0 count has absolutely killed him. Hitters are hitting about 500 against him with a 2-0 count. This year, they've been hitting over 700 against him with a 2-0 count. So we'll see now with Hanley Ramirez, 2 balls and no strikes. Kuroda looks back at Coghlan, now to the plate, swung on and missed in the count 2-1. It's hard to believe, really, it's the same Hanley Ramirez, and watching him play for whatever reason. He has 4 home runs, 17 runs batted in, 4 home runs. He's had 29, 33, 24, and 21, and now to have only 4. He has stolen some bases, and he's trying to pick up Chris Coghlan from second base. The 2-1 pitch on the way, and Kuroda's fastball is bounced up the middle. Behind the bag goes shortstop for call to make the play. Moving over to third is Coghlan. Big high bouncer. So Ramirez grounds out, 1 away, and the batter now will be Logan Morrison, the left fielder. Logan Morrison, one way or another, has gotten on base in 28 straight games. And he is a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure. He's the boy whose first name, you never hear it. In fact, I'd never heard about it before, that his first name is Justice. Justis. His father, Tom, thought he should have more justice in the world. The pitch is way inside at his left kneecap, 1 ball and no strikes. He's improved dramatically against right-hand pitching from last year, and he is far more successful when he pulls the ball this year. Hitting .330, half a dozen home runs, 17 runs batted in, Kuroda, a high set, back with a pitch that drops low and inside. And there it is again, the devil count. 2 balls and no strikes. So Hiroki working very carefully against Logan Morrison. He's a Missouri boy who went to the same high school as Albert Pujols. 2-0. Out of a stretch goes Hiroki, looks over at Coghlan at third, works the plate, and it's fouled back, and the count 2-1. Well, Logan Morrison grew up under the tutelage of his father, Tom, a veteran military officer. Because of Tom, Logan says, I was the only 12-year-old hitting at least 100 balls a day. His dad was a chief petty officer in the Coast Guard. 2-1 the count to Logan Morrison. Kuroda looks at Coghlan at third. Pitch at the plate, in there for a high strike, and the count 2-2. As big as Logan Morrison is, and he's 6'3" and 230, his father was even bigger. His father was 6'4" and 260. A defensive end at Kansas. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Coghlan, who doubled, is now at third with 1 out, and the 2-2 pitch coming up. Kuroda ready, and it's a fastball just inside for ball 3. He tried to hit the inside corner, and he couldn't quite do it. For Kuroda, he is 3-1, right on the money. He has struck out 51 while walking 17. So 3-2 the count to Morrison with Gabby Sanchez, right-hand hitter, on deck. Kuroda out of a set, and the 3-2 pitch coming up. Hiroki delivers, fastball hit in the air to the gap in left center. Jerry Sands goes to get it. Coghlan tags. The run will score. And just like that, the Marlins are on the board, leading 1-0 as Morrison gets his scoring fly ball to left field. So 1-0. And the batter now will be Gabby Sanchez. Gabby Sanchez, a big RBI man with 31, hitting .314 with 7 home runs. He had a tough night last night. Every time he came up, there was somebody on base. And the pitch to him is very high, ball 1. Last night with 2 on, he hit a little fly ball to shallow center. With a man aboard in the 4th, he grounded into a double play. With 2 men on in the 6th, he grounded into a double play. Finally got a base hit in the 8th inning and takes a strike. However, it was Sanchez on a foul ball caught by James Loney. Sanchez tried to sneak home, then was caught halfway and was eventually run down. And when they lost 3-2, that was a huge play. 1-1 pitch, chased and missed. So Gabby now at the count 1-2. So it's typical, I guess, of a fish to go fishing. And that's about where that pitch was. 1-2 to Gabby Sanchez. They have Gabby Sanchez, Anibal Sanchez, Brian Sanchez. And here's the 1-2 pitch coming up to Gabby. The right-hand hitter rips it just fair. Inside third down the line. It hits a tarp cover for call over to get it. Throws into second, not in time. So very close. Marlins actually had a bad break that the ball hit and came back towards the infield. If it just stayed the course and went down the line, it would have been a very easy double. Instead, the ball went inside the line, then hit the tarp cover and came back so that Furcal was able to run over and get it. Close play, but no cigar for the Dodgers, and a double for Gabby Sanchez. So here, doubles by Coghlan, a scoring fly ball, and another double. Very, very close. And the foot just did get there ahead of the backhanded tag by Aaron Miles. So Sanchez at second, and Greg Dobbs, left-hand hitter, coming up. So 1-0 Marlins. We're in the first inning. You know, the Marlins have only played 49 games. This is their 50th game. They've already played 30 games that have been decided by 2 or 1 run. Dobbs waiting. Kuroda thinks better of it and backs off the rubber. Greg Dobbs last night had 3 hits after striking out in the first inning. Though Greg hitting .348, 2 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Kuroda very deliberate. Greg is from Los Angeles, lives in Moreno Valley. He was the Astros pick out of Long Beach State. He didn't sign and he didn't stay at Long Beach State long. He went to the University of Oklahoma. Kuroda ready and deals, and that's fouled away off to the left upstairs. 0-1 the count. We didn't have time to tell you that Dobbs, a notorious first ball hitter and a very successful first ball hitter. So Greg ready to come back up. He will be 33 in July. He can give you a little work in left field and in the infield. He can play first and third. 0-1 the count. Greg waiting, and the pitch to him high and inside, almost at the point of the right shoulder. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. So Hiroki Kuroda is struggling a little bit here in the first inning. There was a stretch where Kuroda's earned run average in the first inning was 9. 16 earned runs in 16 first innings. Well, he's given up 1 tonight. 1-1 pitch to Dobbs in the dirt, blocked nicely by Barajas. 2-1 the count. Not to dismiss this game, but the pitching matchup tomorrow should be a dandy. Clayton Kershaw 5-3 against Ricky Nolasco 4-0. So Kershaw standing alongside Jamie Carroll on the rail, watching the ball game. Carroll getting a well-deserved day off. Kuroda trying to get out of a jam here. 2-1 the count to Dobbs. A run in and Sanchez at second. And again, Kuroda wants Barajas to go over the signs. So they're not quite on the same page for the moment. Hiroki a long look in. Backs off the rubber, now plants the right foot. Now Dobbs backs out. So not gamesmanship, but it looks like Hiroki's not quite ready, and he's reading Barajas yet again. Now the 2-1 pitch on the way. Kuroda delivers, fastball on the inside corner for a strike, and they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. We told you that the Giants lost on a 9th inning squeeze play. Arizona put the squeeze on Houston and beat them 11-3. Zach Duke, who used to pitch for Pittsburgh, made his first start for the Diamondbacks and hit a 3-run home run. So Arizona has now won 11 of 12. 2-2 the count. Kuroda out of a stretch. Another look back at Gabby Sanchez. And the right-hander's fastball is hit into center. Coming up to play it on a hop is Kemp. Here's the throw to the plate. He will slide in and score. So Greg Dobbs comes up with his 4th consecutive single starting last night. And Gabby Sanchez beats the throw to the plate. And suddenly it is 2-0 in favor of Florida. Kemp's throw went right on by the cutoff man, but it was about 5 feet offline to the left of home. Out to get it is Barajas, and when he tried to dive, why, Sanchez had already crossed the plate. So 2-0 in favor of the Marlins on 2 doubles and a single. And the batter now is local boy Mike Stanton. Stanton, who went to Notre Dame, quite a young ball player, hitting .269 with 11 home runs, 28 RBIs, and he has a check swing foul. 0-1. The first thing about Stanton, when you see him, he's very impressive. He is 6'5", weighs in about 250 pounds. And as we said, he went to Notre Dame over in Sherman Oaks. 0-1 the count to Big Mike. Here comes Kuroda, and he works it away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Although he is listed as Mike Stanton, we mentioned it last night, his true first name is Giancarlo. and he has that inscribed on his glove. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now the 1-1 pitch. Stanton fouls that away. 1-2 the count. You know, Arizona, by winning 11 out of 12, they've won 5 straight. And since the Giants lost, Kirk Gibson's club is a half a game out of first place. And it's the old story, we were talking about it last night. It could very well be the top of the Western Division will actually come back to the Dodgers. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Stanton instead of throw to first. The Giants without Posey, they figured a hurt. Colorado without De La Rosa, they figured a hurt. Arizona, let's face it, is a huge surprise. And the Dodgers trying to get their act together with Furcal and Blake coming back, and several others perhaps soon to join the club. 1-2 pitch to Stanton is a fastball low and inside. 2-2 the count to Big Mike. He was recruited by USC as a wide receiver and a defensive back, as well as a power hitting baseball player. So they wanted him on a baseball scholarship with a walk-on in football. 2-2 the count to Mike. Kuroda very deliberate. Back with a pitch, swung on and missed, and down he goes. So Stanton strikes out, but the Marlins still do some damage. 2 doubles, a single, and a scoring fly ball, and they lead 2-0. Kuroda making 27 pitches, giving up 3 hits for 2 runs. So the Dodgers now try to go up against the right-hander on the mound for Florida with this lineup. Rafael Furcal, followed by Casey Blake, Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp, and then James Loney. The rookie Jerry Sands in left field. Rod Barajas, followed by Aaron Miles as they rest Jamie Carroll, and on the mound Hiroki Kuroda. On the mound, it's a big night in the life of Brian Sanchez. He actually made his major league debut here at Dodger Stadium back in 2006. He was pretty much of an unknown reliever for the Philadelphia Phillies. This will be his first career start after 166 relief appearances. He's from Beaumont, Texas. He was originally a second-round pick by the Kansas City Royals out of Lamar University. He is a member of the Caddo tribe of eastern Texas, that Indian tribe Caddo. And we understand kind of an interesting note about the Caddo language. The first pitch to Rafael Furcal on the corner for a strike, and the count 0-1. The word Texas in Caddo language means those who are friends. And that's where he's from, the state of Texas. Strike 1 pitch to Rafael Furcal. He runs up in the box, takes another strike, and the count 0-2. Brian Sanchez, his career high in a pitch count for an entire performance, 49 pitches. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way, and it's a comebacker knocked down by Sanchez, who throws him out. So for call, hits back to the box, 1 away. Brian Sanchez is 33 years old come August. He's an even 6, 190 pounder. He was actually an outfielder both in high school and college. And we say the high in relief, 49 pitches. When he takes the mound tonight, he was told that he'd be on a pitch count or even an inning count, 3 innings or 50 pitches, and then I think they'd get him out of there. So here now is Casey Blake, and he looks at a strike. 0-1 to Casey, batting .316, 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in, and it was Casey Blake last night that started the Dodgers on the road to victory with a single to short. Casey takes in the dirt. He led off the 9th inning last night, hit a big chopper in the hole to the left side. Hanley Ramirez, a tremendous effort and a great play, but Blake just did beat the throw, and when the dust settled, Navarro single scored Blake, and the Dodgers had won a 1-run game. The 1-1 fastball, a line drive, and a diving backhand catch by Greg Dobbs. Well, Casey Blake is known for that play, and Greg Dobbs just turns it around on him as Casey stung one, and Dobbs takes an extra base hit away from him. Wonderful play by Greg Dobbs, and with 2 out, the batter will be Andre Ethier. We can duck in another score. Colorado almost annihilated St. Louis, 15-4. Juan Nicasio came in and was throwing up to 100 miles an hour and shut out the Cardinals for 7 innings. The first pitch to Ethier outside, ball 1. Juan is replacing Jorge De La Rosa and certainly got off to a great start. 15-4 Colorado. The 1-0 pitch on the way is swung on, hit in the air to center. Coghlan going back, away back to the track. It's off the wall. Coghlan hurries to get it back in, and into second base standing goes Andre Ethier. So a line drive backhanded by Dobbs, and then a fastball sent off the center field wall. And as young Brian watched, Ethier really got all of that and doubles to center field. Coghlan went back, had to play it off the wall. It wasn't close to a home run. It wasn't even, let's say, halfway up the wall. Yeah, it was. And looking at the tape, still had a couple of feet before it would have gone out. So for Ethier, he blisters a double, and for Andre, that would be his 11th double. And now here's Matt Kemp trying to pick him up. Kemp with 12 home runs and 34 runs batted in. Here comes Sanchez, gets the first one in for a strike. Brian Sanchez's numbers are very impressive. So Matt Kemp up there looking at a kid with a lot of ability. Fastball, curve, change. He has a splitter and a cutter slider. He comes up with a full deck. Strike 1 pitch is swung on and missed. Sanchez, with an earned run average of 1.5, has walked 13, struck out 19. In 23 previous innings, he's allowed only 12 hits. But again, the pitch count is what will do or undo him. Right-handed back, gets it in there. Strike 3 call. 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and Kemp was caught looking. So no runs, 1 hit, the double by Ethier, and a man left. And at the end of an inning, Marlins 2, Dodgers nothing. pitches, and the pitch count is extremely important for him tonight, and he leads 2-0. Meanwhile, it'll be Omar Infante who hits the first pitch to shallow left, and Furcal goes out to make the catch. So Infante didn't hang around at all. A little fly ball. He had a tough night last night going 0 for 4. So one away, and Brett Hayes coming up. John Buck does most of the catching, and Buck will probably be in there tomorrow behind the plate. But as Eddie Rodriguez said, he wants to give Hayes some work, and here he is. And I'm glad he's starting a game here because he's from Pasadena. He went to the University of Nevada. His dad, Tim, was once drafted by the Royals. So Brett takes a strike, and the count 0-1. He is 27 years old. A second-round pick by the Marlins 6 years ago. So Hayes waiting, 6'1", 200-pounder. The strike one pitch from Kuroda. Fastball swung on, missed, and Hayes falls down. He swung so hard. And he has a big grin on his face and a little bit embarrassed. 0-2. There were some pitchers, and I will say in the old days, if you swung that hard, you can bet the next pitch should be on your back. But the game has changed. Thank goodness for the better. 0-2 the count. Kuroda rocks and turns, ready, and here he comes. High pitch fouled away. Boy, that was high. So it could be that Brett Hayes might be battling a little bit, coming home to play here. So Hayes at the plate. Now Brett back up and waiting. Kuroda waits for him. Now Hiroki turns, ready, in the strike two pitch. Fastball fouled at the plate, though he's still there. Hayes hasn't played much, and of course you get pretty rusty in this game in a hurry. He hit a home run in April against Washington. Well, he hit the home run against Pittsburgh, and the previous home run was in August of last year against Washington. And this is only his 7th start all year. The strike two pitch on the way. Brett takes way outside, backhanded by Barajas. 1-2 the count. So Brett Hayes with 1 out, second inning, and the Marlins leading 2-0. Kuroda again ready, and the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball fouled off. Hayes hitting .333 with a home run and 6 runs batted in, and that translates to 8 hits and 24 at bats. So let's put it this way, he's well rested. Brett back up, right hand hitter, quick hands. A lot of people say, connected to Florida, that he should become a manager someday after his playing career. The 1-2 pitch at the chin, and a 2-ball 2-strike count. He was a member of Team USA a few years ago, and he played 7 different positions. That's right, 7. So Brett, pretty good athlete with a 2-ball 2-strike count. Kuroda rocks, turned, a little hesitation. Now the pitch swung on, and that's fouled away. So the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brett hit his first career home run 2 years ago against a rookie who was making his major league debut. So Brett back up to the plate after fouling off a few. Kuroda, remember, made 27 pitches in the first inning. He'd made 36 pitches now total, and the 2-2 fastball is hit up the middle. Furcal gloves it, turns, throws, too late. A fine play by Rafael Furcal, and the extra hustle for Brett Hayes pays off with an infield single. The Hayes singles up the middle, and the batter will be Brian Sanchez. Good retrieve by Furcal, then he makes that full turn and fires, and Hayes just did beat the throw. So here comes Sanchez, and the Dodgers looking bunt. Brian as a relief pitcher, has had one at bat, and he had a base hit. So he is 1 for 1, but in this game now you'd be looking for him to bunt. He has not had a sacrifice so far. So Brian Sanchez at the plate. Shows bunt and takes ball 1, 1-0. For Brett Hayes, a 9-pitch at bat that pays off with a base hit up the middle. And for Hayes, it was a very good at bat. He had 4 2-strike foul balls. So he battled and battled and got the base hit. Perry Hill coaching at first. Joe Espada over at third. 2-0 Marlins. Second inning. Full swing. Little slow hopper to Kuroda. He goes to second for 1, and they go to first for 2. Well, for whatever reason, they decide to let him hit away, and he hits into a double play. So no runs, 1 hit, nobody left at the end of an inning and a half. 2-0 Marlins. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates, and by your local Mazda dealer. Marlins lead the Dodgers 2-0, bottom of the second inning on a beautiful evening here in Southern California. Tomorrow, the concluding game of this 3-game series, Clayton Kershaw 5-3 against Ricky Nolasco 4-0. Right now it's Hiroki Kuroda against Brian Sanchez, and the Dodgers will send up James Loney, Jerry Sands, and Rod Barajas. For James Loney, who hit his second home run last night into the bullpen, he'll have a look at Mr. Sanchez. And for James, he has reached base 13 straight. We mentioned earlier that Logan Morrison has reached base safely in 28 straight. So here's Loney. James contributing heavily with his glove. You know, he's made only 1 error. So Loney, who's perked up a bit, he's hit safely in 18 of his last 21 games. So that would be 311 just within. So here's James and Brian Sanchez from a stretch. And the right-hander's first pitch, and that's low, ball 1, 1-0. Remember, the pitch count on Sanchez, very important. He made 11 pitches in the first inning. 1-0 the count. Now Brian straightens up. Right-hander comes back with a fastball for a strike, and the count 1-1. The Sanchez spells his last name ending and beginning with the letter S. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Brian deals and drops it low and away. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. So Brian has a pretty good sense of humor in talking about this. Is going to be his and is his first major league start. The 2-1 pitch, Loney pulls it foul, and they count 2-2. And since he has been a reliever for 166 different games, he said, I think what I'll do is just stay in the bullpen after I warm up and wait for them to call me. Well, not a bad idea, not a bad brain set. In other words, he's trying to come in as if this is the 4th, 5th, 7th inning, whatever, instead of the start. 2-2 pitch is pulled foul. Still 2-2. So Brian Sanchez with the Marlins last year was 2-2, all in relief. By the way, the opposition hit 194 against him last year. This year they're hitting 145. The 2-2 pitch on the hands, foul back, and they count 2-2. 17 pitches now, most of them strikes. You take that 17 pitch count, only 4 balls. So he's been right on the strike zone going after the hitters. Marlins lead 2-0, second inning. Sanchez straightens up. Right-hander comes over the top, and it's fouled away again. And of course, most of us forget all about it, but boy, the foul ball is really a foul weapon. You can be out there pitching a gem, and all the foul balls suddenly catch up to you. Hold it like a splitter as he looks in to get a sign. Now he's ready, in the 2-2 pitch on the way, and it is swung on and fouled back. When Brian Sanchez was with the Philadelphia Phillies, that'd be about 4 years ago, he said he always tried to throw a two-seamer. And when he was with the Phillies, Tom Flash Gordon taught him a different way to throw it. He said it's like a one-seam fastball, and it's been very effective. 2-2 pitch on the way is swung on and missed, and down goes Loney, and that could very well have been a splitter. Say, you know, tomorrow you can enjoy the Coca-Cola Value Pack on select Wednesday and Sunday home games. Fans receive 4 tickets, 4 Dodger Dogs, and 4 Cokes, starting at $20 per seat. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/specials or call 866-DODGERS. James Loney becomes the second strikeout for right-hander Brian Sanchez. Now here's Jerry Sands hitting .229, and the pitch of the right-hand hitter is swung on and missed. We were talking before about the pitch count for Brian Sanchez. That at bat for Loney was a 9-pitch at bat, but he fouled off 5. Strike 1 pitch, and that's off the plate. So 1 ball and 1 strike to count. So that's what's going to do it for Brian Sanchez. The number of pitches, they've estimated around 50. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Jerry Sands. Right-hand hitter looks. That's low. Tuesday, Jerry had the thrill of a lifetime, his first Major League Grand Slam home run. Now, that was the first slam by a rookie since Loney did it 5 years ago. 2-1 pitch coming up. It's a fastball fouled away off to the right. He hits 90 on the gun, and they count 2-2 to Jerry Sands. So Brian Sanchez, who didn't pitch, he was college before he went to the mound. Last year, left-handers hit 192, right-handers hit 195, and the 2-2 pitch is low, ball 3. 3-2 to Jerry Sands. Sanchez looks in to get a sign. We're in the bottom of the second, 2-0 Marlins. The 3-2 pitch to Jerry Sands, foul back to the screen. 26 pitches now made by Brian Sanchez. 3-2 the count. Sanchez, an even 6, weighs 190 pounds. And his 3-2 pitch on the way. Fastball high, ball 4. So a 1-out walk to Jerry Sands will bring up Rod Barajas.
Special catcher, number 28.
If you weren't with us in the first inning, Coughlin doubled, came home on a scoring fly ball off the bat of Logan Morrison. Then Gabby Sanchez doubled and came home on a base hit by Greg Dobbs. Dodgers in the first inning, Casey Blake robbed by Greg Dobbs, a diving catch of his line drive that otherwise would have been a double. That followed with Ethier doubling off the center field wall, but Kemp struck out. So here's Barajas hitting .223, and he looks at a strike, and the count 0-1. Rod backs out, takes a look down at Tim Wallach. You have Aaron Miles, the switch hitter, on deck. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Marlins. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers in the bottom of the second inning. Brian Sanchez straightens up. The reliever turned starter. Comes back with a pitch swung on and missed. And the count 0-2. That looked like a splitter. Boy, that's a lot of pitches for a reliever. Normally, you'd expect a reliever to have maybe 2 pitches. Fastball, breaking ball. They're only going to be in there an inning or 2. But he has everything that the deck can give you, just about, except a screwball. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way to Barajas, and it's taken down and away, ball 1. And that was an 0-2 splitter for sure. So he's got 2 different fastballs, the 4-seamer, the 2-seamer. He has a curveball and a change. He has a splitter. He added that 4 years ago. He has a cutter slider. Right-hander ready, and the 1-2 pitch. Brian Sanchez throws to first. Jerry Sands back to the bag, standing up. Rod Barajas, a workhorse for the Dodgers behind the plate. In his 42nd start. Rod, 7 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Brian ready, here he comes, and it's chased and missed. A good fastball off the plate at 90 miles an hour. Barajas went across the plate to take a shot at it, and instead becomes the 3rd strikeout victim as he chases what would have been ball 2. So with 2 out in the second inning, Aaron Miles coming up. Miles, the switch hitter. He's batting .419 right-handed, .243 left-handed, which of course is the way he checks in. But the big thing is to give Jamie Carroll a night off. Jamie has been in 50 of the 52 previous games. The pitch to Miles, he takes a strike. Miles doesn't give you much. He's about 5'8" up there at the plate. 0-1 the count. Aaron 5'8", 180. Jamie Carroll hanging around with Clayton Kershaw, Jay Gibbons, chewing on that gum, knowing he'd like to be back in there. The strike 1 pitch to Miles, that's in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Marlins 2 runs, 4 hits. Dodgers no runs, 1 hit. A double by Ethier that hit the center field wall on the fly. Jerry Sands, who walked, is at first base with 2 out. And Miles with a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Brian Sanchez straightens up. Right-hander ready and throws to first. And Sands ducks back to the bag again. For Jerry Sands, he has stolen 3 bases. He's got good speed, but he's also been caught twice. He's not familiar with the moves of the pitchers in the league yet. 1-1 the count to Aaron Miles. Sanchez ready, comes back, and it's a little dribble at the third. Glove there by Dobbs. It cranks it up to throw him out, and that's that. Dodgers leave Sands, who walked, and at the end of 2, it's the Marlins 2 and the Dodgers nothing. Ticket is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Get the new Bourbon Barbecue Steak Grill Sandwich at participating restaurants. And by your Southern California Ford dealers. Visit us today and trade up to Ford. Third inning, the Marlins lead the Dodgers 2-0 with Hiroki Kuroda and Brian Sanchez. Marlins picked up 2 runs on 3 hits and a sacrifice fly in the first inning. And then in the second inning, a 1-out single. The manager, Eddie Rodriguez, decided to have the pitcher swing away, and he hit into a double play. So Chris Coghlan, who was in the on-deck circle, will now lead it off. Dontel Willis, Hanley Ramirez, and Chris Coghlan, all 3 named Rookies of the Year in the Marlins history. And the left-hand hitter slices one to Sands in left field. So just like that, 1 pitch, 1 away. You know, you can follow the Dodgers with the MLB.com at Bat 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT 31826 or visit Dodgers.com for details. So 1 away, and the batter now, Hanley Ramirez, grounded to short, was a bouncer up the middle, and behind second base went Rafael Furcal to throw him out. So Hanley trying to get his game started this year and takes a strike, and the count 0-1. I mean, here's a fella who, among other things, and maybe this is part that's bothered him, I don't know, he signed a contract extension for 6 years that'll carry him through 2014. So Hanley may be putting pressure on himself. Last night we told you the story when he became the batting champion in 2009. The Marlins owner, Jeffrey Loria, was so thrilled over Hanley's accomplishment that he had 394 diamonds made into a necklace in the shape of 342, which was Ramirez's championship batting average. Hanley is 6'3", 195, 27 years old. He'd be 28 2 days before Christmas. And he's from the Dominican, originally signed by the Red Sox, and played 1 year. 6 years ago, he had 1 at-bat, struck out, and disappeared from Boston. Takes off the plate, and they count 2-2. Though Ramirez at the plate. When he was a rookie, he opened up a lot of eyes because he was only the 5th player since 1900 to do what he did. 2-2 pitch, ground ball to the hole, backhanded, knocked down, lost by Furcal, no play. So Rafael got his glove on it, couldn't hold it, and Ramirez is safely aboard and will wait to score his judgment. Looked like most of the time Furcal would make that play, but the ball just got away. What Ramirez did in his rookie year, and it's going to go as a base hit, he had 45 or more doubles, 50 or more steals. So all of a sudden, Hanley Ramirez, as a rookie, had his name alongside of Ty Cobb, Trish Speaker, Lou Brock, and Craig Biggio. But all of a sudden, that's a while ago. So Ramirez with a 1-out single and Logan Morrison at the plate. And there goes Ramirez. The pitch is high. The throw is in time to get him. Ramirez called out at second base by Jim Wolf. Good throw. And for Hanley, coming in, he had stolen 11 of 16. So this is the 6th time that he's been called out trying to steal. A very, very close play. The tag was up high on the thigh, and Jim Wolf, who is Randy Wolf's brother, calls him out, so Hanley goes back to the dugout. And with 2 out, Logan Morrison on a 1-0 pitch takes ball 2. Logan Morrison had that sacrifice fly in the first inning. hitting .330, 6 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Big change from last year, and he hits a towering fly ball to center, but it's very playable. And Matt Kemp backs up and one-hands it somewhat casually, and that'll be that. No runs, an infield single. Good throw by Barajas to get Hanley. And at the end of 2.5, 2-0 Florida. As we go to the bottom of the third inning, but this will be a moment of truth, I believe, for Brian Sanchez. When he took the mound in the very first inning, we mentioned that his career high pitch total 49. Well, right now, coming into this game, he had made 11 pitches and 23 pitches, so here he is at 34. And although there's no one throwing in the bullpen, they're making their notes, and they're going to be watching him very, very carefully, especially Randy St. Clair, the pitching coach. So here is Hiroki Kuroda to start it off. And ball one. Kuroda hitting less than a buck. Hiroki has 2 doubles. Oh, check me on that, just 2 singles. And he takes a strike, and the count 1-1. I think because of the pitch count, if you're Mattingly, you might just want Kuroda to hang around as long as he can and burn up some more pitches. The 1-1 pitch, Hiroki looks, and it's in the dirt. In fact, Sanchez, I think, got hooked up with the rubber and almost fell down. So he had a little trouble. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Visiting pitchers usually struggle a little bit with the mound. It varies in so many ballparks. 2-1 the count. Ryan ready and comes back, and it's poked foul down the right field line, back into the seats, and the count 2-2. Of course, that's in favor of Brian Sanchez in the sense, as a reliever, he always inherits a pockmarked mound from all the pitchers who have used it before him. 2-2 to Kuroda. Ryan delivers, fastball fouled away. And of course, for Don Mattingly, anything that Kuroda can do to just stay alive and stay up at the plate and make him pitch. 39 pitches now. Brian looks in to get a sign. No one throwing yet in the Marlin pen. They lead 2-0. And the next pitch off the plate. So he goes 3-2 to Kuroda. He has walked 1. He walked Jerry Sands. He has struck out 3. And he has now made 40 pitches. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Kuroda. And Hiroki takes ball 4. So that was a huge at bat. First of all, with a lot of pitches, and secondly, to get a walk. And now I think they'll perhaps move around in the bullpen as Rafael Furcal comes up to the plate. So he's made 41. Again, remember, his career high is 49. Well, they're up but not throwing in the bullpen. They're just watching. Marlins 2 runs, 5 hits. Dodgers no runs, 1 hit. Brian ready. High set at the collarbone. Furcal chases one, a splitter, and the count 0-1. Rafael hit back to the box in the first inning. Struggling, trying to play his way back to being a major league player. That is really tough. So he's 2 for 23 since coming off the DL. Takes off the plate, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Furcal now backs out while he looks at Tim Wallach. You don't expect the Dodgers to put on a play with a pitcher at first base. Now the 1-1 pitch to Rafael Furcal, swung on, banged into center, base hit. Stopping at second base is Kuroda. So the Dodgers now have the tying runs aboard. Nobody out, with Blake, Ethier, and Kemp coming up. Still not a ball thrown in the Marlins bullpen, but Randy St. Clair is on the phone, and in a minute they'll be swimming in the fish tank back of right field. Casey Blake ripped one in the first inning, and third baseman Greg Dobbs a diving backhand catch of the line drive. Burt Badenhop, a right-hander, begins to warm up down in the bullpen. This figures, of course, because Brian Sanchez has now made 44 pitches and Blake takes a strike, 45. So 4 more and he's at his career high. And for a fellow who normally pitches 1 or 2 innings, he has taken on a lot tonight. He's into the third, but nobody out. Blake hitting .310, 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Remember, the Dodgers lost him as of April the 25th until last night. Strike 1 pitch, and Casey takes low. 1-1. So Brian Sanchez right on the edge of coming out no matter what. By the way, down in the bullpen they've switched. Now Edward Mojica, formerly with San Diego, begins to warm up. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Casey Blake. Swung on and missed. And that from up here looked like a splitter. 1-2 the count. 47 pitches. 2 on, nobody out. 2-0 Marlins, third inning. Kuroda at second, Furcal at first. And the 1-2 pitch to Blake is taken. Strike 3 called. So Casey walks away and the runners hold on. That would be the 4th strikeout for Brian Sanchez. And a fastball got the outside corner. And the batter now, Andre Ethier. Andre Ethier, coming into the game, was hitting .371 against right-hand pitching. And first time up, he doubled off the center field wall. Well, this is the pitch. This will be number 49, which equals a career high for Brian Sanchez. Right-hander ready and delivers, and he's high and away. So he has given them 49 pitches and 2 into third innings. Dodgers with the tying runs at first and second, and only 1 out. So Ethier waiting. Sanchez out of his stretch, and the 1-0 pitch swung on, ground ball to first. Sanchez down to his shortstop, no further play. So they get the force 3-6. Moving over to third is Kuroda, and the batter will be Matt Kemp. So Ethier hit the ball sharply at Gabby Sanchez, and they got the force on Furcal. So 2 out, runners at first and third. That was the 50th pitch. So Brian Sanchez a career high. And obviously they will stay with him as Matt Kemp comes up. He struck out Kemp and Loney. So Matt coming up first and third, 5 home runs in his last 10 games. And in the muscle department, tied for second with 12 home runs. He has 34 runs batted in. So Matt checking in. Kemp last night 0 for 3 and robbed by Chris Coughlin of an extra base hit. Here comes Bryant's first pitch. Check swing for a strike, and the count 0-1. So they're trying to get him through the inning. And he got 2 out. Runners at first and third. Ethier at first, Kuroda at third. 0-1 the count to Matt Kemp. Out of a stretch, time called at the plate just as Brian Sanchez ready to pitch. Now the strike one pitch on the way. The right-hander deals. Fastball swung on and missed. Kept it down. Kemp couldn't lift it. 0-2. This will be his 53rd pitch, 4 more than anything else he's done in his career. Matt in and out of the box while Sanchez looks in to get a sign. Now they're both ready, and the strike 2 pitch coming up. It is taken and hit just there inside third and down the line. Scoring is Kuroda. Stopping at third is Ethier as Kemp took a little while on that off-speed pitch and then banged it over third base. Well, they talk about good hitters and how, although it's grammatically incorrect, they can wait on a pitch. And Kemp just held up and then didn't get a lot of it, but got just enough to double over third base. And the Dodgers get right back into it, scoring the run. And with runners now at second and third, first base open, Loney the batter, and the right hand hitting Jerry Sands on deck. So Matt Kemp, the big clutch man for the Dodgers, doubles in 1. It is Marlins 2, Dodgers 1, and here's Loney. And James takes in the dirt, ball 1. With Edward Mujica throwing in the pen, you have to wonder just how long they're going to push Sanchez. It's somewhat of a tantalizing decision made for Eddie Rodriguez, who is, by the way, the first Puerto Rican to manage in the big leagues. The 1-0 pitch on the way is way inside, ball 2. Well, first base is open. He has now made 55 pitches. Jerry Sands on deck. Edward Mujica getting ready in the pen. Now Brian Sanchez ready, and the 2-0 pitch, and that's taken for a strike. 2-1 the count. He has now made 56 pitches, trying to hold on to what is now a 2-1 lead with runners at second and third. He says no. Now he's ready. Face looks a little flushed. And the 2-1 pitch in the dirt. Blocked nicely by Brett Hayes. So 3-1 the count. Ethier and Kemp with first base open and a 3-1 count to Loney, who struck out in the second inning. Sanchez ready, and the 3-1 pitch to Loney swung on, ground ball to short. Ramirez taking his time, then throws him out. And for Brian Sanchez, a tremendous effort as he gives the Marlins 3 innings, and he walks off leading 2-1. Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by El Pollo Loco. Try our delicious Baja-style fish tacos with classic Baja or spicy avocado sauce. Only at El Pollo Loco. By Corona. And by Time Warner Cable. Fourth inning, Marlins leading the Dodgers 2-1. Tremendous effort for Brian Sanchez. He made 58 pitches, and I certainly wouldn't expect him to go out there again, but he's not bundled up, so we'll just wait and see. Gabby Sanchez will start it off in the fourth inning. Ball one. Gabby doubled over third down the line in the first inning and scored a run as Dobbs singled him home. And a drive to the gap in left center, and that thing is spanked. It's going to go to the wall. Gabby on his way to second base, and that would be the third double already for the Marlins in 3 innings. And Sanchez has 2 of them as he doubles to the gap. And the batter will be Greg Dobbs, followed by Stanton and Infante. So Gabby Sanchez with 2 doubles tonight, and that gives him 13 doubles. The leadoff man, Chris Coughlin, has 16 doubles. Dobbs has been pure dynamite with runners in scoring position, and Greg, with his base hit to drive in Sanchez in the first inning, is now batting .400 with runners in scoring position. And ball one. 1-0 to Greg Dobbs. Dobbs focused on completing his business degree. I think he's just about accomplished that. Getting in online classes. 1 ball and no strikes to Greg. Trying to pick up Gabby Sanchez here in the fourth inning. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Marlins, 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. And that's popped up. It will be for call. So Dobbs pops it up, fails to advance Gabby Sanchez, 1 away, and the batter Mike Stanton. Stanton, I'm sure with a lot of family and friends here for the series, 0 for 3 last night. He lost an extra base hit last night. He hit a ball to right field and it began to slice, and Andre Ethier on the dead run backhanded it about knee high on the track right near the bullpen gate. And ball one. When Mike was playing AAA at Jacksonville, his manager was quoted as saying, "If he makes a mistake, he won't make it again." Pretty good tribute for a young ball player. 1 ball and no strikes. Again, when you look at Stanton, 6'5" and about 250, he's 21. He'll be 22 in November. 1 ball and no strikes. Ball 2. Last year with the Marlins, he had 22 home runs, 59 runs batted in, hit .259. Two and 0. And ball 3. Last year, Mike Stanton made his major league debut, went 3 for 5, scored twice, and his dad was in attendance. The game was played in Philadelphia. And then 10 days after that, his first major league home run, a grand slammer. That's right. what Stanton did, he didn't like his bat. He asked Dan Uggla, the second baseman for the Marlins, can I use your bat? And Dan said, sure, go ahead. And he hit the grand slam. Second Marlin ever to do that as a rookie. Beaten foul. Who was the other Marlin? Gary Sheffield. He had a grand slam back in 1995 in Colorado as a rookie. And as we mentioned, even though he's Mike Stanton to the world, the name on the nameplate in the clubhouse is Giancarlo Stanton. That's his birth name. He was given the name Mike as a kid, and it stuck. Yeah, Mike figures to stick a lot easier than Giancarlo. 3-2. Late on a fastball. So Stanton strikes out for the second time tonight. Still looking for a hit in the series.
Second baseman,
and it was
13,
a good pitch,
Infante.
but the bottom dropped out of it. Up here, it didn't see that dip. And down goes Stanton. So Infante, who popped a short, coming up. Omar Infante hitting .243 with a home run and 16 runs batted in. No one covering. We mentioned that Mike Stanton used Dan Uggla's bat to hit his grand slam home run. Uggla was traded to the Braves, and they acquired Omar Infante. Ball one. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Marlins. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Omar Infante did not really hit a ball hard last night. 0 for 4. Normally he gives John Garland a very bad time, but not last night. Omar's from Caracas. Off speed for a strike. 1-1. Baroda has made 60 pitches. He had a very tough first inning when he made 27. 2 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. And that's going to go into right center. Not only a base hit, it's going to score the run for sure. And the Marlins lead now 3-1 as Infante goes the other way to cash in Gabby Sanchez.
Catcher,
Base hit, run batted in. So Sanchez scores twice. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Marlins. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. And Brett Hayes, the catcher, coming up with Infante at first base. Tomorrow, 1:10, Clayton Kershaw and Ricky Nolasco. Kershaw 5-3, Nolasco 4-0. And Hayes hits one into left field for a base hit. Infante will go to second and hold on. So Brett Hayes, the local boy, is 2 for 2. And the batter now will be a hitter, Scott Cousins, to bat for Brian Sanchez.
Pinch hitting for Sanchez.
So for Brian, a great 3 innings. It was tough for a guy normally to, with a minimum number of pitches. He made 58, and he comes out. Of course, he can't win. As a starter, you have to go a required 5, but he certainly gave his club a big lift here. And here is Cousins. Cousins hitting just 179 with a home run, 4 runs batted in. He's the boy from the University of San Francisco, lives up there in the Bay Area, who had that unfortunate collision with Buster Posey. Cousins, by the way, is 6'2" and about 190. left-handed all the way. 26 years old. And ball one. You know, Brian Sanchez had a couple of taxing at-bats against him. James Loney had a 9-pitch at-bat, and that was followed by Jerry Sands, who had a 7-pitch at-bat and walked. Then remember, Hiroki Kuroda came up. Kuroda had a 7-pitch at-bat and walked. However, he was able to sail through 8 of 14 batters, saw 3 or less pitches. So he paid the price with Loney, Sands, and Kuroda, but still made 58 pitches, which is a little too much for him. He did get through 3. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ground ball to Aaron Miles. Easy flip to Loney, and that'll be that. However, 2 singles and a double produce a run. And for Brian Sanchez and the Marlins, they lead 3-1. The Marlins lead the Dodgers 3-1, and the Marlins started the scoring in the first inning as Coghlan doubled to open it up. There was a double by Sanchez to cash in Coghlan, and then there was a base hit by Dobbs to bring in Sanchez, and it was 2-0. In the third inning, the Dodgers got one back as Kemp doubled, and that cashed in Ethier. In the fourth inning, however, the Marlins got another one. Sanchez doubled, and Infante singled him in. Though we moved to the bottom of the fourth, with Florida leading the Dodgers 3-1, and Edward Mujica, big boy out of Valencia, Venezuela, had been with the Padres the last couple of years, but he was originally signed by the Cleveland Indians. Mujica, 27 years old, and a strike to Jerry Sands. 0-1. It was interesting when the Indians called up Edward Mujica. That would be back in 2006. Mujica made his major league debut June the 20th and came up without an earned run average. Can you imagine? In 38 2/3 innings, over 24 appearances with Akron and Buffalo, he didn't give up a single run. When a guy pitches that well, you wonder what took him so long. Well, Mujica, working on Jerry Sands right now, has an earned run average of 4.4. Fouled away. Mujica with a record of 4-2. Eddie Rodriguez saying before the game he's going to use the bullpen. So he's already started with a reliever, Brian Sanchez. Now here's Edward Mojica, and they'll have somebody ready for him. So this would be baseball's answer to a relay team. Gary Sands walked in the second inning. 2-2. And sliced foul out of play. When Sands walked, that at bat was a 7-pitch at bat. And he's fouling them off, so he's still there, 2-2. And this right now has become a 7-pitch at bat. Number 8 coming up. And ball 3. So Sands making his contribution while making the pitchers work. Mojica, fastball, slider, and a splitter. Foul ball. So it's a 9-pitch at bat, and the next pitch will be number 10. So the old story, you help every way you can, and Sands is certainly helping with this 10-pitch at bat. And the 10th pitch is the killer. So down goes Sands, 1 out.
Number 28, Rod Barajas.
Bottom dropped out of that thing, and Rod Barajas coming up. 5 Dodgers have struck out tonight, 4 at the hands of Sanchez, and Mojica gets 1, and now Barajas. Barajas batting .221, 7 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Ball 1, 1-0. The slider at about 80 some odd. 1 ball, no strikes. Foul ball. Whoa. Rod almost fell down. 1 ball and 1 strike. Big thing for Rod, besides catching every day, despite only a .221 batting average, he's right up there with 7 home runs, and he's hitting better than .300 against left-handers. One and 1. 1 and 2. Three runs, 8 hits for the Marlins, 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Foul ball. So Mojica is facing only his second batter, and he's already made 14 pitches. Those foul balls that we mentioned, sooner or later are going to get you. Foul ball. Left-hand hitters last year hit only .202 against Mojica, and right-handers hit .243. Two and 2. Kuroda in the 3rd inning made only 9 pitches. Brian Sanchez in the 1st inning made only 11. And here's Mojica now facing his second batter, and he's made 16. And a fly ball to center, heading for the glove of Chris Coghlan. Now you see that glove, that's a pretty big glove, kind of a big basket catch glove. When Coghlan last night was called in to play the infield on that right side trying to stop Deona Navarro, he changed gloves. Pretty simple why. Outfielders want the biggest glove they can to catch the ball, but the infielders want a small glove so they can reach right in and find the ball. Bill Mazeroski, one of the great second basemen in the history of the game, Hall of Famer, had a glove that appeared to be only a little bit bigger than a driving glove. It was really small, but he turned to double play so well because he never had any problems reaching in to find the ball. That's right. 1-1. Two out, fourth inning, 3-1 Marlins. 2-1. Miles has done the bulk of his hitting as a left-handed batter. Two and 2. 3-1 Marlins. Bottom of the fourth, 2 out, with Hiroki Kuroda on deck. Meanwhile, Casey Blake, Andre Ethier, studying every pitch from Mojica. They'll be seeing him later on. Fouled off. Still 2 and 2. Mojica is 6'2" and 220 pounds. Been with the Indians, the Padres, and the Marlins. Fouled away. Boy, if you're a pitcher, it must be maddening to see so many wasted pitches, in the sense just fouled off. This is a tough inning for him. He's retired the first 2 batters, but it's taken him 23 pitches. '24. So Miles 7 pitches. Sands had 10 pitches. Barajas had 7 pitches. Ground ball, foul. Outfield played to left field. And another dreadful foul ball in the pitching count now. He's made 26 pitches. Miles, somewhat of an unsung hero, battling Edward Mojica. 2 out, 4th inning, 3-1 Marlins. Miles hitting .296 with runners in scoring position. Little fly ball, but there's Coghlan. And after all of that, finally Mojica retires the side in order. And at the end of 4, Marlins 3, Dodgers 1. we go to the 5th inning, so it's time for a trivia question. The Dodgers have had 7 opening day third basemen in the last 8 seasons. Can you name them? Yes, Virginia, there was someone else besides Ron Say. We'll give you the answer in a little while. Yep, Casey Blake started, missed him for a while, but he's back. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Marlins, 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. That last inning for Edward Mujica, retired the side in order, but he made 27 pitches. Here now is Chris Coghlan, doubled, scored a run, flied to left, and ball 1. Chris was a two-way star at the University of San Francisco, played the outfield and pitched. .6'2", 190, 26 years old. Some scouts say that Chris Coghlan reminds them of Chipper Jones. 1-1. And he slaps it to left field. That's a base hit. Sands over to cut it off. Coghlan will hold on with the single. He's 2 for 3, and that's the 9th hit for the Marlins in 4 innings plus. So Hanley Ramirez, who is 1 for 2 coming up, grounded to short, single to the hole at short. The ball went off for Call's glove, and then he was thrown out trying to steal. Three runs, 9 hits for the Marlins, 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. And a cracked bat, little pop fly. Miles can't make it. Stopping and on his way to be forced was the leadoff man Coghlan, because he had nowhere to go. All Coghlan could do is go about halfway, and when Marlin saw that Miles couldn't make the play, Coghlan tried to move up, and Ethier got him. So it turns out to be a pop fly. Here's Miles, and his best shot off the glove, and Ethier is there to recover and get him. So the old 9-6 play. So Ramirez cracked the bat and loses a base hit on the pop fly. An assist for Andre Ethier, and Logan Morrison at the plate. Morrison, a scoring fly ball and fly to center. Hits a little roll into Miles. They'll get one. They will get one. Ball was not hit hard enough, especially to get a left-hand hitter who runs well. So Morrison safely aboard, and that'll bring up Gabby Sanchez, who has been a problem for Hiroki Kuroda. He has 2 doubles tonight. Sanchez, trying to catch up, came into the game 0 for 5 against Kuroda. 2 for 2. Hitting .321. And ball 1. Gabby Sanchez, out of the University of Miami. He's had 21 RBIs in the month of May, and then has scored twice tonight. 2-0. His family owned a series of batting cages down in Miami, and he spent a lot of time using his family's batting cages. Three and 0 the count. Sanchez has 7 home runs. Hitting back of him is Greg Dobbs. Sanchez last year had 19 home runs. 3 and 0. They let him swing and he pops it up. Miles out. Kemp in. It will be Miles. And he went Miles to get it. So no runs despite a leadoff single. And at the end of 4 1/2, Marlins 3, Dodgers 1. Leading the Dodgers 3-1, and it'll be Hiroki Kuroda, Rafael Furcal, and Casey Blake. And ball 1. Kuroda walked in the 3rd inning. Fouled away. The dreaded foul ball. You know, the other inning when Mujica came in to pitch the 4th inning, we talked about it. He made 27 pitches. But 15 of the 27 were foul balls. The bunt, foul ball. 1 and 2. You know, it sounds strange, but you ever think about it? If you're swinging away at the plate, you can foul off pitches all day long. But if you're asked to bunt and you bunt for the 3rd strike, they call you out. And people say, why? Why would you penalize the guy trying to bunt more than anybody else in the lineup swinging away? Well, I'll give you the answer that I read as Kuroda strikes out. Back in the early 1900s, I guess with Ty Cobb and all the others, they were so good at fouling off a pitch intentionally that they had to do something to stop part of the offense from just choking up on the bat, fouling pitches off. And so they decided that they would penalize the bunter, since all the others were able to do it with a swing. So if anybody asks you about why the 3rd strike bunt, that's what I was told. 1 ball and no strikes the count to Rafael. Two and 0 the count. Seems impossible, doesn't it, that you could stand at home plate and purposely foul off pitches. And yet, never mind the early 1900s, in the 30s and 40s, I'd heard there were quite a few adept at doing that. 2-2. And that's going to be hit to center. Coughlin has to knock it down. And Furcal, with one out in the 5th inning, comes up with his second hit. So Raphael is 2 for 3. For the Dodgers, their 4th hit. And the batter, Casey Blake. Blake lined out to third, robbed by Greg Dobbs, and then last time up struck out. And ball 1. Just to report what is going on, and normally and good, we stay with action between the foul lines, but you'll be reading about whatever it is. There was a lot of smoke that suddenly came into the ballpark. Now, off the third base side, the people seem to be comfortably ensconced, but off the first base side, that's where all the smoke is, and the people at that area are leaving. I assume they've been asked to leave, maybe to take other seats. 1 and 2. The cause of whatever produced all the smoke, we have no idea. One and 2 the count to Casey Blake. Ball 2. We get a report that there is or was a fire in a warehouse on the reserve level, and as a safety precaution, they've asked the people upstairs off first base to move to the other side, I assume, of the ballpark. And with a runner going, a throw late and on a bounce, and Furcal steals it. So Brett Hayes, too much of a jump, he could not catch up to it. And for Raphael Furcal, that would be his second stolen base of the year. 3-1 in favor of the Marlins. And that's going to be a strike, and down goes Casey. So Blake 0 for 3, and the batter now will be Andre Ethier. Couldn't hold up on the pitch in the dirt. So Mojica has struck out 3. 7 Dodgers have struck out in 4 2/3 innings. And Andre Ethier, who doubled and hit into a force play, coming up. Edward Mojica versus Andre Ethier. Ethier has 2 home runs against him and is 3 for 7 in the pan. 0-1. And a foul ball down the line, still 0-2. One and 2 the count to Andre Ethier, hitting .319. Ethier doubled off the center field wall and hit the ball sharply to Gabby Sanchez, who turned it into a force play back in the third. 2-2. Two balls, two strikes, two out for call at second. 3-1 Marlins. And Ethier comes up empty. So that is the fourth strikeout for Edward Mojica. 8 Dodgers have bitten the dust. And at the end of 5, 3-1 Marlins. Along to Paul LaDuca. He had 2 singles against Colorado, came up against Gianimo, and immediately was knocked down. Got out of the dirt angry, got his 3rd hit, barking back at Mota. The 4th time up, he hit a big home run. Then the 5th time, he got a base hit to tie up the game, and for good measure, got his 6th hit of the game to score the winning run. Not a bad day's output. Let's go back to this one. Can you imagine a 6-hit game? And that day belonged to LaDuca. Fly ball, curling foul, and will hook back into the crowd. A lot of smoke still coming from that area, but all of the people in the upper deck or first base have moved on. The smoke looks like something left over from Candlestick Park. As we said, there was a fire in a warehouse, so they've moved the people. Meanwhile, Greg Dobbs single popped up, 1 for 2, and drives it to right center. Ethier can't get it. It'll go against the wall. Ethier falls down, and Dobbs, leading off the inning, will hold with a double. So for the Marlins, they are double trouble. They have 4 doubles tonight, 2 by Gabby Sanchez, 1 by Chris Coghlan, and now this double by Greg Dobbs. So Dobbs at second, waiting for a ride home. He's gesturing to the third base coach, Joe Espada. And here is a very hungry Mike Stanton. Stanton is not only 0 for 5 in the series, struck out his first 2 times tonight. Mike hitting .265. Check swing for ball 1. 3 runs, 10 hits for the Marlins. 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. 8 Dodgers have struck out through 5 innings. Ball 2. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Mike McDougal gets up. Kuroda has made 78 pitches. And ball 3. Tomorrow afternoon, Clayton Kershaw, Ricky Nolasco. And then the Dodgers will dig in and wait the arrival of the Colorado Rockies. Three and 0. On the corner, 3-1. Well, Eddie Rodriguez knows he has a power plant up there at the plate. Stanton with 11 home runs, so they could easily green light him 3-1. Three and 2. You forget, of course, Mike is so big, such a fine looking ball player, but he's only 21. Three and 2. Off the plate, ball 4. So Kuroda now digging a hole. That would also be the first walk that he's given up. Well, remember the trivia question? We were talking about the Dodgers and 7 opening day third basemen in the last 8 years. Can you name them? Well, we have time to go over the names. There they are. Adrian Beltre, Jose Valentin, Bill Miller, Wilson Betemit, Blake DeWitt, Casey Blake, and Juan Uribe. 7 in the last 8. All right, they've had a meeting with Kuroda and Omar Infante, who popped a short and singled a right coming up. 2 on, nobody out. The catcher Brett Hayes on deck. Dodgers pull up the corners with Loney and Blake. Infante hitting .247. He sacrificed twice this year, and he drops a beauty. Blake has to come in to get it on a very close play at first. So the sacrifice works, and the runners move up to second and third. So Infante does his job. Now it's up to Brett Hayes and perhaps a hitter for Mojica, and Wes Helms comes out on deck. By the way, in looking at the Florida Marlins, a resourceful ball club, however, their bench has been very weak. They've only had 10 pinch hits, and as far as pinch hit RBIs, Eddie's club would be the 15th lowest with pinch hit RBIs. So we'll be testing the bench after Hayes. He's already used Cousins, who grounded out, and now let's see if Mattingly feels that 83 pitches might be enough from Kuroda. Mike McDougal, he'll be called in from the bullpen, and Hiroki goes out. Allowed 3 runs, 10 hits, and of course the book's open with runners at second and third, and we'll be right back. Right now to Tim Wallach after making 83 pitches, and he comes out having allowed 3 runs and 10 hits. And of course, runners at second and third would also be charged to him. So it will be up to Mike McDougall to get the job done. And Brett Hayes, who is 2 for 2 tonight, single to short, single to left, will be coming up. And he's been a problem. So McDougall, who is 6'3" and 190, 34 years old, from Nevada, went to Wake Forest. He'll be going up against a hot hitter who doesn't play very often, but Hayes is 5'4'9" with runners in scoring position. So McDougall has to go right after him with runners at second and third. Dobbs at third. He opened the inning with the double, and Stanton, who walked, sacrificed to second. So here comes Hayes against McDougall. Hayes has not faced McDougall in the past. They had Infante bunt against Kuroda. Infante was hitting .500 against McDougall. So now we'll see what happens with Hayes. Dodger infield halfway. The outfield fanned out straight away. Foul ball, 0-1 the count. So Brett Hayes getting a rare start to rest John Buck. Hayes from Pasadena, though it's a big chance for him here before some home folks and friends, I'm sure. 0-1. And 2. Hayes hadn't played much, but that batting average is still impressive enough. .385. He has 1 home run, 6 runs batted in. Hayes, with 2 hits tonight, has 10 hits, and 5 of them came with runners in scoring position. 0-2. Ground ball to short. Runners have to hold. For call, makes the play. So 2 out, and Wes Helms will come up and bat for Mojica. So Hayes hit the ball sharply enough, but right at for call. Wes Helms out of North Carolina from Gastonia. Born there, raised, and still lives there. Helms in high school, and he's a big fella. He's 6'4", 230, but he was considered a top pitching prospect, and every team except the Braves envisioned him pitching, working every 5th day. Wes had made it clear he wanted to play every day. So because of that declaration, he fell to the 10th round in the draft. That's ball 1. If you remember years back, the big red machine, the Cincinnati Reds, the second baseman Tommy Helms, Wes is a nephew. Up there, second and third, 2 out, 1-1 the count. Helms hitting just .196. We told you the bench has not done anything, and coming off the bench, he is 3 for 13. And ball 2, 2-1. Big Wes, he loves martial arts and very much into kickboxing. At 6'4" and 230, he'd be quite a force. Little ground, fair ball, just over the bag down the line. Loney can't believe it. 2 runs will score, and into second base goes Helms. And that opens it up, 5-1 Marlins. First base umpire Ron Copa explaining to Loney, and here comes Don Mattingly. But 2 runs come in as Wes Helms dribbles one up along first, just over the bag and down the line. Almost looked like the ball might have even touched one corner of the bag. No doubt in Ron Kulpa's mind, calling it a fair ball all the way. So Helms doubles over first base. And for the first time in a while, the Marlin bench has helped out. Those runs are charged to Kuroda. So it is 5-1 Marlins. One of the big headaches for the Dodgers going into this game. They were averaging less than 3 runs a game in the month of May. The only major league team to score less than 3 runs a game. And then last night they found the secret. They scored 3 and they won 3-2. But now all of a sudden they're down 5-1. And the Marlins really, in looking back over the game, have 3 run-scoring hits tonight, all with 2 out. Remember, Greg Dobbs singled to center with 2 out to score Sanchez in the first inning. Omar Infante, a flare single to right in the 4th inning with 2 out to score Sanchez. And now with 2 out, Helms gets that double, and they pick up 2 to lead 5-1. So McDougal now faces Coughlin, and Chris is 2 for 3. Chopper to Aaron Miles, and that's the 3rd out, but not before the big hit. So it's a 2-run inning here in the 6th, thanks to that double by Wes Helms. 5-1 Marlins. Difficult to score some runs. So last night we can take a look, first of all, with a 5-man infield, the base hit to center by Deanna Navarro driving in Blake to win the game, and the Dodgers exploding. Been tough to score, so they finally got a win and made the most of it. But tonight, faced with the same old problem of trying to score some runs. So 5 runs, 11 hits.
For the Marlins, number 31.
1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. With Burke Badenhop coming in. Burke in his 10th game. Badenhop is out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's a big fella, 6'5", about 206 pounds. Lives in Florida. Right-handed all the way. Came over from the Detroit Tigers. Joined Florida in 08, but he's been up and down. Last year 2-5. And a strike to the leadoff man, Matt Kemp. 0-1. Matt tonight struck out and doubled. 1 ball and 1 strike. Badenhop went to school at Bowling Green. The big deal with Detroit that brought him to the Florida Marlins. And a fly ball to right field. It's playable. Mike Stanton. So Matt Kemp goes the other way. 1 out. And the batter James Loney. And a reminder, it's Don Mattingly bobblehead night Wednesday at 7:10. The Dodgers and the Rockies. Compliments of Carl's Jr. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. Kenley Jansen gets up down in the Dodger bullpen. Loney has struck out and grounded out. Ball 1. So it's been Sanchez, Mujica, and now Badenhop. And this was the schedule that Florida knew they would have to go with tonight because of a pitted shortage. However, their big guy, Josh Johnson, figures to pitch coming off the DL. Johnson figures to pitch on June 7th. And that would be against Atlanta. Though because they did not have Johnson to start, they had already used Anibal Sanchez against the Giants. So they started Brian Sanchez, who put in a great effort and made 58 pitches. Gave up just 1 run. Then Edward Mujica worked 47 pitches, and here's Badenhop, who gives up the base hit to Loney. So Loney, a 1-out single up the middle. He goes 1 for 3, and that'll bring up Jerry Sands, the Dodgers' 5th hit. They had 3 hits against Sanchez, 1 hit against Mujica, and now the base hit against Badenhop. Jerry Sands walked in the 2nd inning and then had a 10-pitch at bat in the 4th inning, only to strike out. Jerry hitting .227. Breaking ball, ball 1. Jerry taking a long look at Tim Wallach. Loney a very short lead at first. And ball 2. Badenhop has been in 9 games. He's 1-0 with the league. ERA under 3. 2-0. And he's 3-0. Five runs, 11 hits for the Marlins. 1 run, 5 hits for the Dodgers. That's a strike. Baden picked up his first save Wednesday against the Giants. Ground ball to the right side. They're going to get 1. They will get 2. So just like that, the Dodgers are done in the 6th. No runs a hit, nobody left. And at the end of 6, 5-1 Marlins. make a double switch. They bring in Tony Gwynn to play left field and bat ninth, and they bring in Kenley Jansen to go into Jerry Sand's spot as the pitcher. So it's been Kuroda, McDougald, and now Jansen. 5-1 Marlins. They've led since the first inning when they scored twice. Dodgers got a run in the third. Marlins came back with a run in the fourth to lead 3-1, and then scored twice in the sixth inning to take the 5-1 lead. So Kenley Jansen getting ready to pitch to Hanley Ramirez, Logan Morrison, and Gabby Sanchez. Hanley Ramirez grounded to short, singled to short, hit into a force play, 1 for 3. And ball one. So Ramirez, Morrison, and Sanchez, and if anybody gets on, Greg Dobbs. One and 0. 1-1. For the Marlins, with their 11 hits, Morrison is without a hit. He's 0 for 2 with a run batted in. And Mike Stanton is 0 for 2 with a walk. Everybody else has at least 1 hit, including Wes Helms with a big hit. Helms, coming off the bench, just did get one fair down the right field line to drive in 2, and that really gives the Marlins some breathing room. Kenley goes 2-1 to Ramirez. Check swing. They're going to look. No swing, says Ron Kopa. 3-1 the count. Kenley versus Hanley. Oh, he wanted to hit that thing in Miami. 3-2 the count. Foul back. Hanley Ramirez from the Dominican Republic. We mentioned it last night. One of the changes here was a home run hitter, hit as many as 33, 29, 24, and this year he's had far more ground balls than fly balls. It shows you when you see a multi-talented player like Hanley Ramirez struggling at 212, just how difficult it is to play this game. Now, his dad is a talented mechanic on cars, and I guess it's a lot easier to work on a car than it is on your swing. And ball 4. So Kenley walks Hanley, and Logan Morrison coming up.
Heading next, left fielder number 20. Logan Morrison.
It's not as if the Dodger pitching has been generous with walks. That's only the second walk. Kuroda walks Stanton in the 6th, and now Ramirez walks in the 7th, but the perplexed look on Rick Honeycutt's face tells you a lot. Here's Morrison. Sacrifice fly, fly to center, hit into a force play. And remember, he has reached first base 28 straight games. Ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Tomorrow afternoon should be quite a pitching matchup. Clayton Kershaw and Ricky Nolasco. 1 ball, no strikes. Ramirez was thrown out trying to steal back in the 3rd inning. Hanley has stolen 11 and been caught 6 times. Ramirez has stolen as many as 51 bases, and he did that back-to-back years, 06 and 07. Hanley last year had 32 stolen bases. So they're always very well aware of his presence over there. One ball and one strike. Morrison hitting .324, 6 home runs, 18 runs batted in. And the count goes to 2-1 to Logan. Five to 1 Marlins. We're in the 7th inning. Two and two. Morrison, interestingly enough, as a left-handed batter, came into the game with a better batting average, or a higher batting average, against left-handers, hitting .343 against left-handers, .324 against right-handers. And he'll get a left-hander tomorrow, Clayton Kershaw. Down he goes. So it looks like Morrison's streak might end tonight after 28 straight, reaching first, going after a questionable fastball that might very well have been out of the strike zone. So one away, and Gabby Sanchez checking in. Doubled inside third, scored a run. Doubled again and scored, and last time up popped up. Gabby hitting .319. One out in the 7th. Ramirez at first, and the Marlins lead 5-1. In the dirt. Nice save and a new ball put in play. Dodgers were able to beat the Marlins last night with 6 hits. They're going to have to do a lot more tonight. They're trailing 5-1 with 5 hits. And Ramirez at first, one away. Ball 2. Sanchez with 7 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Gabby with 2 doubles tonight. So he has 13 doubles and 7 home runs. No triples. Must have been wildly exciting in Milwaukee today. Milwaukee beat the Giants in the bottom of the 9th inning on a squeeze play before a full house. And that's ball 4. The Jansen now has walked Ramirez and Sanchez after striking out Morrison. And he'll go head to head with Greg Dobbs.
Batting next, third baseman Greg Dobbs.
Greg Dobbs single to center, popped up and double to right. So he has knocked in one and he scored one when Wes Helms came off the bench to double. So 5-1 in favor of the Marlins in the 7th, and they're looking for more. The Marlins, for whatever reason, are playing better ball on the road than they are at home. They're 2 games above 500 at home. They are 7 games above 500 on the road, and they've done very well against the Western Division. They've won 7 out of 10 against the West. Greg Dobbs, trying to pick up somebody now, is hitting .400 with runners in scoring position, and he has Hanley Ramirez carrying the mail out there. The Marlins have done some of their scoring with 2 out. Well, they have 1 out now. That's a strike. So 0-2 the count to Greg Dobbs. Dobbs hitting .357. He came in hitting .333 against left-handers and .349 against right-handers. And ball one. Last night, the Marlins lost 3-2. Greg Dobbs drove in the 2 Marlin runs. One and two the count. 2 on, 1 out. 5-1 Florida. And that's going to go into right field, right center actually. Scoring easily is Ramirez. Going to third is Sanchez. And it is 6-1 in favor of the Marlins. And for Greg Dobbs, 3 hits. He had 3 hits last night, 3 singles last night, and tonight 2 singles and a double. So Ramirez carries in the run. 6-1 Florida. And still with 1 out, Mike Stanton at the plate. Stanton struck out twice, walked, scored a run. 0 for 5 with 2 walks in the series. And ball one. That's been the problem for Jansen. Pitching behind. So he walked Ramirez with 1 out. He walked Sanchez. And then Dobbs just got the base hit. 1-0. And ball 2. The Marlins 6 runs, 12 hits. Dodgers 1 run, 5 hits. The only Dodger run came in the 3rd inning. After Furcal singled with 2 out, Matt Kemp doubled in Ethier. And ball 3. So Kenley Jansen really struggling now with his control. Jansen's earned run average was over 6, so he's struggling anyway. 3-0. And a strike. At third base coming down the line is Gabby Sanchez. Greg Dobbs over at first, and the 3-1 pitch to Stanton. 3-2. Six runs, 12 hits for the Marlins. 1 run, 5 hits for the Dodgers. And amongst the 12 hits, they've come up with 5 doubles. Three and 2. With 1 out, we'll see what Dobbs does. He holds, and down goes Stanton. So Stanton strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. Still looking for a hit before the home folks. Let her high fastball, and he couldn't catch up to it. And the batter now is Omar Infante. So Stanton going to school here. Meanwhile, Infante popped up, singled, and sacrificed. Omar's 1 for 2. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Ramon Troncoso begins to loosen up. The Dodgers in the bottom of the 7th are due to have Barajas, Miles, and Gwynn. And ball 1. So Kenley just cannot get that first pitch for a strike. 2 out. Runners at first and third. And the Marlins leading by 5. One and 1. For Jansen, because of the walks, pitching behind, this will be his 30th pitch of the inning. One ball, 1 strike. Little dribbler charging is Miles, shovels the ball just in time. So the Marlins settle for 1, and at the end of 6.5, nice play by Aaron Miles, the Marlins lead 6-1. Down 6-1 here in the 7th inning, and they'll have Rod Barajas followed by Aaron Miles and then Tony Gwynn. Barajas struck out in the 2nd inning and flied to center in the 4th. The Rod hitting .220 with 7 home runs, 15 runs batted in. First ball swinging, 0-1 to count. Sanchez, Mojica, and Badenhop, and the Dodgers Kuroda, McDougal, and Jansen. Oh and 1. And a drive to right, fading a bit is Stanton, and just like that, 1 out. You know, Memorial Day, you can enjoy the long-standing tradition of hot dogs at Dodger Stadium. $1 Dodger Dog Day. That's presented by Farmer John. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. 1 away here in the 7th inning. Well, you know, coming into this series, one thing we certainly knew about the Marlins, who were 1 game back of Philadelphia when they arrived and lost last night. Their bullpen has been wonderful. The bullpen for Eddie Rodriguez, first in saves and first in wins. The bullpen has 13 victories. Well, he needed the bullpen tonight and started the game with a reliever, Brian Sanchez, then another reliever, Edward Mujica, and now the third, Blake Badenhop, and they're in the 7th inning, leading 6-1. For the Marlins, a rare easy game so far. In the 50 games that they have played, including tonight, 30 of the previous 49 have been decided by 2 runs or less. Last night they were 14-4, only to lose their 5th game by 1 run. And before tonight, even though you could look back over the last 4 years and say the Marlins have won 9 of 13 coming in to Dodger Stadium, off the glove of Ramirez and Miles safely aboard. The difference in runs between the two teams since 2007, 62 runs scored by the Marlins and 61 runs scored by the Dodgers. But tonight, that's blown apart a bit, 6-1 Marlins. That'll be an error charge to Henley Ramirez. Meanwhile, you can take a look at the Dodger box score, and even though there are a few guys with some hits, it only adds up to 5 hits and 1 run. So they're down 6-1. Maybe one optimistic note, the fact that Furcal has 2 hits. And here's Tony Gwynn. Chopper to first. They'll go down for 1. The return to Badenhop. He gets by the pitcher covering, but it's also backed up by Hayes. Now they're going to see whether the runner turned or not. And obviously he did not. So they get a 3-6 force play. There you see Badenhop unable to handle a throw to first. So 2 down.
Rafael Furcal.
And Rafael Furcal coming up. Furcal hit back to the box in the 1st inning. Single to center in the 3rd. Single to center in the 5th. And a strike. 0-1. Furcal, since being activated coming into this game, was just 1 for 22. But he's got 2 hits tonight, an encouraging sign. And he drives it to left. Coming in and now having to go back is Morrison. And that will be that for the Dodgers in the 7th. So at the end of 7, Marlins 6, Dodgers 1. They've led since their 1st inning when they scored 2. Dodgers make another double switch. Jamie Carroll comes in along with Ramon Troncoso. So Troncoso would bat in for Call's spot since Rafael made the last out, and Carroll would bat in the spot that was originally occupied by Jerry Sand. Ramon Troncoso up and down from the minor leagues, trying to cut down that high ERA of 8. Kenley Jansen, remember, his ERA was over 6. And Troncoso will be facing Brett Hayes. Then it will be Badenhop, the pitcher spot, and Chris Coughlin. Emilio Bonifacio coming out of the dugout. He'll be a pinch hitter. Bonifacio will also be the third pinch hitter used by the Marlins tonight. Hayes singled to short, single to left, and grounded out. The Hayes 2 for 3. Troncoso ready to go to work. Little low, ball 1. 6 runs, 12 hits for the Marlins. And ball 2. Those 12 hits, Dobbs leading the way with 3 hits. Hayes has 2 hits. Gabby Sanchez has 2. Chris Coughlin has 2. Morrison is 0 for 3. Stanton is 0 for 3. And Troncoso immediately comes in and falls behind 3-0. It's been Kuroda, McDougal, Jansen, and Troncoso. And that's low. So Troncoso comes in and walks his first man. That's exactly what Jansen did. And the batter now, Bonifacio. Bonifacio is from the Dominican. 5'11", 180, 26 years old. Brett Butler was his manager for a couple of years when he was in the Arizona farm system. Originally came up to the Diamondbacks in 2007. Switch hitter, hitting .273, and to break it down, hitting .286 right, .269 left. For Troncoso, he's missed the strike zone now on 5 pitches. For Don Mattingly, a very long night, and the dagger that really plunged into his heart was the double by Wes Helms that broke a tough 3-1 game into a 5-1 game, and now 6-1. That's a strike, and the count 1-1. Cousins and Helms pinch hit ahead of Emilio. Fouled away. 1-2 the count. Ramon Troncoso has walked Brett Hayes at first base. Loney holding the inside corner. We're in the 8th inning, 6-1 in favor of the Marlins. Dodgers will have Blake, Ethier, and Kemp in the bottom of the 8th. Well, that'll do it for Bonifacio as down he goes. He struck out last night as a pinch hitter, so it's not been much of a visit. In fact, it's been a while. It's the one big hit that the Marlins have had from somebody coming off the bench, and that was Wes Helms' hairline double, let's put it that way, in the 6th inning. So here's Chris Coughlin, double, flied out, single, grounded out, scored 1, and hitting .242. Check swing, ball 1. 1 out, 8th inning. Hanley Ramirez on deck. One and 0. That's a strike. Six runs, 12 hits, 1 error for the Marlins. 1 run, 5 hits for the Dodgers. One of the things that has really hurt the Dodgers tonight is the fact they have violated a pitching commandment. There are two. Number one, make that first pitch a strike. And the other commandment, get the leadoff man. Well, 5 straight Marlin leadoff hitters have reached. And on this night, 6 of the 8 have reached, 4 have scored. And the Dodgers are down 6-1. Foul back. You go back and look at your book. Coghlan opened up the game leading off with a double. Then in the 4th inning, Gabby Sanchez led off with a double. In the 5th inning, Coghlan led off with a single. In the 6th inning, Dobbs led off with a double. And here in the 7th inning, Ramirez led off with a walk and scored, and Hayes in the 8th inning led off with a walk. So the Dodgers have made the offensive maneuver of walking or allowing a base hit to the leadoff man, and it has really come back to haunt. 6-1 Marlins. And that's going to go foul. Oh, what a catch down there. Hello. Easy. Had it all the way. Oh, I've done my night. And that thing was hit hard. That was really drilled. One and two. The paid attendance tonight, 29,971, 29,971. And if you were with us earlier, we had a fire in a warehouse, and they had to ask all of the people in the upper deck off first base to be relocated. 1 and 2. Nice save by Barajas. 2-2 the count. We talked about the commandment of getting the leadoff man in the inning. The Dodgers have failed to do that. The other commandment about getting that first pitch for a strike. Dodgers have gotten 38% of the first pitch strike. That's all. That'd be 13 out of 34. Foul ball. And Coghlan got a little of that. 2-2 to Chris. 1 out in the 8th. 6-1 Marlins. Tomorrow, Clayton Kershaw and Ricky Nolasco. Nolasco is 4-0, an earned run average of 3. Averaging right around 7 innings a start. He walked 13 while striking out 54. So the Dodgers figures to have quite a pitcher on their hands tomorrow. That's down the line, foul. Though it's still 2-2. Of course, the Dodgers will answer with a fine pitcher of their own, and that would be Clayton Kershaw. His ERA is 2.9. He's averaging just under 7 innings a start. And although he has walked 23, Clayton has struck out 77, which means he's donated $7,700 so far this year to building that orphanage in Africa. 2-2. Little ground ball into right field. Down to second base goes Hayes, and the catcher will hold there. So Coghlan comes up with his third hit as he bounces a single into right field. For Chris Coghlan in the leadoff role, 0 for 4 last night, though he's come right back tonight with a good ball game. And here's Hanley Ramirez. First and second, 1 out. Coghlan, by the way, before he had that hit, it took 11 pitches before he found one to his liking to single to right field. So 2 on, 1 out. Ramirez 1 for 3 with a walk, committed an error, and was thrown out trying to steal. So Hanley Ramirez languishing at 212. This is the 5th meeting of the year between the two clubs. 6 are scheduled, and they've split the previous 4. Cracked bat. Little ground ball for 1, and they get him for 2. And a good chunk of the bat went all the way into the stand. So for Ramirez, he winds up with 1 hit, a shattered bat, and the last out. And it's 6-1 Marlins. Hold on the Dodgers. 6 runs, 13 hits. Dodgers with just 1 run and 5 hits. The Marlin bullpen has done a tremendous job up to here. Started off with Brian Sanchez. Then they went on through Mojica, Badenhop, and now the left-hander Mike Dunn. Out of New Mexico. He was originally selected by the Yankees 7 years ago. Now lives in Las Vegas. But when the Yankees signed Mike, they signed him as an outfielder. But he didn't hit very much in 2 years. And the Yankees then spoke to him about moving to the mound. He had pitched a little bit in high school and for the Community College of Southern Nevada. So he decided, well, okay, I'll give it a best shot and try to pitch. And his conversion to the mound began during spring training of 2006. So he has pitched his way to the big leagues with the Yankees, with the Braves, and now with the Marlins. 1 ball and no strikes to Casey Blake. Blake hitting .300, lined out, robbed by Dobbs of an extra base hit, and then struck out twice. That's a strike, 1-1. Mike Dunn is 6'1", 195. He just celebrated his 26th birthday on the 23rd. Fastball hit high but playable in right center. And it will be Bonifacio who's out there in center to make the catch. And just like that, one away. Well, for one brief shining moment last night, the Dodgers had Andre Ethier come up, and Andre got a breaking ball and hit it into the bullpen for giving the Dodgers Jamie Carroll and Aaron Miles a great moment. Ethier tonight led off by hitting one off the center field wall for a double. Since then, hit into a force play and struck out. Andre is hitting .317. He's been hitting over .370 against right-hand pitching. Left-handers, however, he's hitting .203. And 1 ball and 1 strike. Mike Dunn basically fastball, slider. He has a cutter and a changeup. One ball and 1 strike. Slicing fly ball down the left field line, going foul, back into the stands. 1-2. Interesting little background story about Mike Dunn. Here's the 1-2 pitch, fouled away. It was July, and he was pitching in the minor leagues in the AAA All-Star game. And all of a sudden, his fiance ran down to holler to him, and he was kind of shocked. He said, well, she knows better not to come down to the bullpen during the game and yelling at me. So I finally said, why are you here? What are you talking about? And she hollered over and said, you're not going to Buffalo tomorrow. And he said, well, where am I going? And she said, you just got called up. That was July the 14th at the All-Star game in the minor league. 2-2 to count. In the deal that sent Dan Ugla from the Marlins to the Braves, Dunn and Omar Infante came to Florida. 2-2. Pulled on the ground sharply, but right at the glove of Gabby Sanchez. Position is everything, and he was right on the line.
Fielder, number 27, Matt
So
Kemp.
Ethier, a tough out, hit that thing on the button, but out. 2 down in the 8th, and Matt Kemp coming up. One of the many problems for the Dodgers once they fall behind, they have a lot of trouble scoring anyway. And Matt Kemp doubled in the run in the 3rd inning. Since that double, the Dodgers have just 2 singles to show for it, and they're now in the bottom of the 8th. 0-1 to Matt. Kemp against left-handers is hitting .364. 0-1. Mike Dunn this year does not a fiance need to tell him what's going on, because right-handers are hitting .114 against him and left-handers are hitting .115 against him. I mean, he's been truly remarkable in a brilliant bullpen. Dunn's total earned run average is under 2.5. His strikeout to walk ratio better than 2-1. Two and 2 the count to Matt Kemp. Matt hitting .313. He has 12 home runs, 35 runs batted in. Fastball, 3-2. and a fastball at 92. So Brian Sanchez, followed by Mojica, Badenhop, and Dunn. The Marlins began the night 2 games behind Philadelphia. I'm not sure if we can figure out about what Philadelphia did today. We know the Giants lost on a bottom of the 9th inning squeeze play. Colorado won. Arizona won. And ball 4. So Dunn walks a man. Philadelphia beat the Mets 5-2. So even should the Marlins win this game, they'll remain 2 back of the Phils. For the Dodgers, they have received 3 walks. 1 of the walks went to Hiroki Kuroda. And a strike. Loney has struck out, grounded to short, single to center. 8 Dodgers have struck out, but they have not had a Dodger hitter strike out since the 5th inning. 0-1. Off the plate. 0-2. Brian Sanchez went the first 3. Edward Mojica then went the next 2. And for Mojica, he is the pitcher of record. A chance to get his record to 5-2 should the Marlins hold on to the lead. Jamie Carroll is on deck. 0-2. Fouled away. Mike Dunn, strikeout to walk ratio a little better than 2-1. In fact, now that Kemp walked, it's exactly 2-1. 0-2. Ground ball to the hole, plugging it up nicely is Infante. So that'll do it for the Dodgers in the 8th inning. They leave a man, Kemp, who walked. And at the end of 8, 6-1 Marlins. In the first inning, the Dodgers got their only run in the 3rd inning, and then the Marlins have taken on from there, scoring 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, leading 6-1 in the 9th inning. For Don Mattingly, a very tough ball game that fell apart on a pinch double by Wes Helms, just over the bag in the 6th inning with 2 out to drive in 2, and from a tough 3-1 game that made it 5-1. They added another in the 7th inning, and the Marlins with a very comfortable 6-1 lead. So in the 9th inning they'll have Morrison, Sanchez, and Dobbs in that order. Logan Morrison is 0 for 3. Does have a run batted in on the sacrifice fly. However, he has not reached base, and he has reached 28 straight games. And a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gabby Sanchez to follow, and then Greg Dobbs. And that's been a tough combination, Sanchez and Dobbs. They have 5 hits between them plus a walk. And ball 2. 2-1 the count. It's been Kuroda, McDougal, Jansen, and now Troncoso. Two and 1. And that's whacked into left center. So he's done it again. A long single. Nice play by Gwynn to hold it to a single. But it also means Logan Morrison has now reached in 29 straight games. That's the longest streak in that department in the big leagues. So he smoked it to left center to go 1 for 4 with a run batted in. And the batter now is Gabby Sanchez, who has 2 doubles and a walk. The only time they got him, he popped up in the 5th inning. Gabby hitting .319, 7 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Very aggressive. 0-1 the count to Gabby. Philadelphia, by winning its game today, has now won 4 straight. Though Florida trying to stay on their heels, 2 back. Giants lost. Arizona won yet again, 11 out of 12. And then Colorado snapped a 4-game losing streak. 1-1. And that's a fly ball. Here comes Gwynn to handle it. And back to first base goes Morrison. So with 1 out in the 9th inning, the batter will be Greg Dobbs.
Greg Dobbs.
Dobbs, 2 singles and a double, has knocked into and scored 1 himself. Greg also made a dazzling diving catch of a hardline drive hit by Casey Blake in the 1st inning. So Greg hitting .362. 2 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Boy, they really have some fellas who can hit. Dobbs hitting in the 360s. Morrison hitting in the 330s. Gabby Sanchez hitting in the 320s. One ball and no strikes to Greg. Hope you'll be with us tomorrow on this wonderful weekend. Clayton Kershaw 5-3 against Ricky Nolasco 4-0. Ground ball to Miles. The shovel for 1. They'll turn it for 2. And we'll be heading for the bottom of the 9th inning. No runs a hit, nobody left. And at the end of 8 1/2, 6-1 Florida. The Dodgers 6-1. They've had 9 relievers on the squad, and they're using 5 of them tonight to stifle the Dodgers, starting with Brian Sanchez, then Mojica, Badenhop, Dunn, and now a right-hander, Steve Cishek. Cishek will be facing Carroll, Barajas, and Miles. And Steve is a big fella, 6'6", 218 pounds, out of Falmouth in Massachusetts. He attended Carson Newman College. He's only been a pro since 2007. He appeared in 3 games last year after making his major league debut last year, and he was just brought up. Jay Buente had been up, called him up, and now he went back down, so we'll see about Cishek. Dodgers will see about him as well, with Jamie Carroll to start it off. For Carroll, this will be his first at-bat. Gary Sands had walked, struck out, and hit into a double play, and then in a double switch gave way. So here's Carroll batting .299. The Marlins have 6 runs on 14 hits. Interesting, when the Marlins came in, they had not hit in an overwhelming number of double plays at all. However, they hit into 3 double plays last night, and they're doing the same thing again tonight, only tonight they're winning. They hit into a double play in the 2nd inning, again in the 8th, again in the 9th. Casey Blake, meanwhile, a long 0 for 4, robbed of an extra base hit by Greg Dobbs. That's a strike to Carroll, so he's in a hole 1 and 2. Boy, that is a big drink of water out there. Loney trying to figure out how to get some runs. 6-1 Marlins, 9th inning. He snakes that ball. Coming up for it is Infante to make the play. 1 away. Maybe you're not old enough to remember him, but I will always remember him because of Pee Wee Reese, in talking about a pitcher named Ewell Blackwell with the Cincinnati Reds. And Pee Wee always said in his long and terrific career, there was only one pitcher who thoroughly intimidated him, and it was Ewell Blackwell. Blackwell, like Cishek, long and lean, and threw by way of third base. And that's when Roy Campanella came up with that great expression, jelly leg, meaning if you're a right-hand batter, your left leg wants to get out of there in a hurry when these tall pitchers snake that ball by way of third. That's fouled away out of play. 1-1. 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Marlins 6, Dodgers 1. So tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon, the so-called rubber game. And it will also figure out this is the 5th meeting, and the Marlins, winning tonight, will have won 3 of the 5. Fastball banged into left field. So Barajas, on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, singles to left, and the batter is Aaron Miles. So Barajas goes 1 for 4. Miles is 0 for 3, did reach on Hanley Ramirez error. Aaron can certainly be a pest up there. Back in the 4th inning against Mojica, he had a 10-pitch at bat before he flied to center. Ball 1. Miles has been a very tough hitter, especially with men on base and in scoring position. Chopper to the hole, backhanded Ramirez throw in time to get Barajas. He would not have been able to get Miles. but he was able to take advantage of having the veteran catcher running towards second base. So the Dodgers are down to their last out, and Tony Gwynn is the batter. Tony hitting 190 with 4 runs batted in, and Sischik trying to put him away. Cechek has gotten 2 outs, 8 pitches. There goes the runner. They'll not pay any attention to Miles. Defensive indifference. So no stolen base. Don't forget tomorrow, Clayton Kershaw 5-3, Ricky Nolasco 4-0. The Dodgers and the Marlins in their final game of the year. 2-0 the count. Jay Gibbons comes out on deck. Remember, Troncoso is in for Call's leadoff spot. 2-0. 3-0. So Carroll grounded out. Barajas singled. Miles hits into a force play, and they're trying to stay alive to get Gibbons up there. 3-0 the count to Tony Gwynn. Strike. Logan Morrison very, very shallow in left. Bonifacio shading a bit towards left center. And Stanton gives Gwynn all of straightaway right. Ground ball to Hanley Ramirez. Makes the throw, and that will be that. For the Dodgers, no runs, 1 hit, a man left. 6 runs, 14 hits for the Marlins. 1 run, 6 hits for the Dodgers. Mojica gets the win. Kuroda suffers the loss. And tomorrow, Kershaw and Nolasco. A reminder, stay tuned for Dodgers Live coming up next. Good night, everybody.